Hear it, hear it, hear it. Check it. One,
And we're live.
live. All right, it's the Big Hammock podcast coming to you with a big announcement. We are going to be setting up our tent stand with our table, selling our DVDs at the Ocala Speedway. They've got a racing event Saturday night. It is they got late models going on. They've got street stocks, factory stocks, mod lights, 3/4 mods, and outlaw fours. So big event Saturday night. We're excited about going. I'm in connection to the Ocala Speedway because I run the wrecker at that track. And they're supportive of the movie. We had a couple guys that work at the track come and see the premiere.
That's right, Dave.
Dave came, Greg
Shout out to
came,
Dave.
and Greg.
Greg.
Yep, they came, and I tell you, Dave is a fan of the podcast. He listens to him. I send them to him. He's always got comments to say. He enjoyed the crew too.
Yeah.
Like he spent time with I think Chaz and his girlfriend and other people, and
okay.
he was no stranger to anybody. So
Sweet.
I know that he's definitely excited about having us out. Candace is excited about having us out. We're also going to do a free raffle. Just put your name in the hat, and we're going to draw for a free DVD, potentially during the intermission. And again, everybody will have an opportunity. Oh, we got shirts. We're going to raffle off some shirts. Again,
You
come.
think,
Go ahead.
you think Dave's an extra large?
Yeah, I do. Give it to Dave.
That's
All right.
Dave's right there.
Dave gets him a shirt. He's going to be excited. So, Dave, this one's coming to you. So the races.
Yeah.
Ocala Speedway. I don't think that people know how fortunate we are here in Ocala
Right.
that we have a local dirt track here in our backyard.
And how long has it been here?
It's the longest continuously running dirt track in the state of Florida.
Really?
Yep.
And now it was pavement at one time, right?
So it started out as dirt, and then it switched to pavement, and that's when it's no secret to you and other of our listeners. I moved down from Ohio in 1998, and I could. I could hear the races on Friday or Saturday night, whichever night it was. You could hear them from my house. And out here in Ocala and especially North Marion country, there's really nothing much to do out here.
Right.
We do our Friday night, high school sports. If it's a football game, we'll go to basketball games, baseball games. It's about all we got for entertainment on the north side of Marion County. But we also have the racetrack, and I can remember going there as a kid, and it was paved. Definitely a lot of fun. I was really a big fan of the sprint cars. Those things were fast around that track. It's gone through different owners throughout the years. It ended up getting switched back to dirt. And then Bubba the Love Sponge has owned the track. I don't know how long he's owned it, but it's been a while. At one point, it was called Bubba Raceway Park. Just as late as last year, it was reverted back to the Ocala Speedway to get to its roots of being the longest continuously running short track in the state of Florida. So, but I started working there in 2020, and then COVID hit. But there was a derby, demolition derby, and let me backtrack. I can remember my parents taking me to this racetrack back when it was paved, and they I remember throughout the years I would always try to at least go to a sprint car race that they had whenever the sprint cars came through, and I remember watching at one point. I don't know how old I was, but the record drivers, right? They would go out there when somebody would crash and they go and get the car off the track. And I don't know when it was and what moment it was, but I remember at one time thinking to myself, man, that'd be a cool gig to get. Like, how do you go about getting that gig? And I can tell you, years went by before I even entertained that gig. Being the record driver. Um, but what had happened is there was a Facebook post. I'd followed the Facebook page, and they were asking for somebody to come help with the record trucks. They had a big demolition derby they were putting on. I messaged them, told them I live 5 minutes down from the track, and they got back to me, and I've been there ever since. So,
Oh, cool, cool.
yep, I've been running the White Wrecker. Me and Chris Linville actually run that. He's my hand in the truck. We hook him and book him.
And so, like, how many wrecks do you see a night normally?
It's hard to guess. I mean, there's definitely. I'll be honest with you. As a kid, it was cool seeing the wrecks, and you're asking that question. As a record driver, I'd rather just see good racing.
Right, right.
Whenever there's a wreck, wreck number one, your first thing is safety of the
Driver,
driver,
yeah.
right? But once that is under control, our primary objective is to get that car off the track as soon as possible to get this show back and running. And sometimes that can be difficult, right? It's not a jab at the track, right? This is just the case with all of these, dirt tracks out there. The equipment's old, right? Some things happen. I've been out on the track and went to go hook up a car and my winch didn't work, and it's in front of all the fans, and you got to figure out how to get this car off another way. You got to get creative sometimes. So, it can be stressful sometimes, to get a car off the track. But at the end of the day, it's a collaborative effort with the team that's out there on that infield, to get the car off as quick as possible. And it can happen multiple times throughout the race. I've seen races time out, meaning they've just had too many cautions, and the last caution gets flown, and or the last caution flag goes out, and they ran out of time. They can't race anymore. The race is
Mhm.
done, because we just got to keep going. So,
Right.
I've also seen a 50 lap race that went all the way from green to checker.
Nice.
For the fans, and even yeah, anybody watching a race, you want to see a good race. You want to see, first and second battling it out. Even if somebody's battling out, for third and fourth, whatever it may be, if somebody's making that pass, they're putting on a good show at that point, and it really is good for the fans to see that. But when you have a 50 lap race, and it goes straight from green to the checker, it's not really odds are that's because they're all going in one line all the way around, and there's not really much action happening.
Yeah.
So,
So, how did so about the race tonight? What exactly is going on as far as the details, so the listeners can know, like what time? What time
yeah,
is the
so
gates
the
open?
yeah, the gates open at 5 o'clock, for the grandstands. They'll start practicing around 6, getting the tires getting the car engines warmed up, start running their hot laps. We try to go into heat races by 7, and we go on to the feature. So,
Okay.
yep.
So, and then obviously we'll have our table set up. They
Hmm.
was gracious enough to allow us to come in there and promote the movie.
Yep.
So, you want to talk a little bit about how that happened and how Mr. Producer hooked it up
You
or
you
what?
know it's funny. In one of the podcasts, Travis said, a producer's job is never done. We continue to work, and I can tell you for sure, that I was not excluded from that. I've been, working ever since, and you're laughing because but um, Candace up at the track, along with Dave, as I mentioned, and there's several other, Ken Snyder's been, interested in the movie, and there's been people that work there that show interest in the movie, and I haven't seen them since the last race, right? So, I know that there's definitely some people at the track that work at the track that are interested in the movie. Candace has been more than supportive. She shared, some of the. I think she shared one of the trailers when we were doing the premiere.
Cool, cool.
She's been asking me how things been going, how'd the premiere go? Hey, I want 2 DVDs or whatever it may be. And she's said, hey, if you want to set something up, let us know. Anything we can do to support. So I asked her. I said, hey, can we go post up? At the end of the day, what it comes down to for us, you know, we're not going to make any bones about it on this podcast. We are doing this podcast to promote this movie, to you listeners out there. Like, subscribe, share, comment. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Amazon, we're on Apple, we're on iHeart. And again, follow us on Facebook for any kind of announcements. What we're doing is promoting this movie. And what a better opportunity to get out there amongst our community on this dirt track.
Right.
And big thank you to Ocala Speedway for letting us do this.
Oh, for sure.
We're getting out amongst the community to hang out with everybody, see everybody. This is an opportunity for the fans of the Big Hammock to come out and show us some support and show the dirt track some support,
Right,
right? Like
right.
this is.
It's a local racetrack
Mm-hmm.
showing a local movie.
Yep.
You know, support. So we should probably try and do the same thing. I would imagine.
That's right.
So if our Big Hammock fans want to come out, check out the race, even if you're not into racing, it still would be cool to come out and support them because they're allowing us to use their platform to push our movie.
Correct.
Which, like you said, no bones about it. That is our main goal, right?
Yep.
Push the movie out as far as we could take it.
Yep. Yep.
And I really do appreciate the track allowing us to come out there and promote.
Yep.
I think that's cool.
Yep.
Yep. So.
And we'll throw the plug in there, thebighammock.com, one word. Purchase your DVDs.
Yeah.
But again, listen, we've talked. I've been talking to people. There's people that uh, don't get into the digital world, right? Video on demand. Yeah, I went to the website. It said I gotta subscribe, and but with honestly, with the generation below us, we're a little bit older now. You know what I mean? With the generation below us, that's no big deal, right? But to anybody my age or above, they're a little bit iffy. Some of them are, you know what I mean?
Right.
They're a little bit iffy on doing that video on demand. You got to subscribe to it. You got to sign in. You got to do all that stuff.
But it's not, to make it clear, it's not a monthly subscription like you're thinking.
Mhm.
Like you just subscribe to the newsletter
Correct.
for free. I mean,
Correct.
subscribing doesn't cost anything.
Correct.
It's just, it's a way for us to kind of keep in contact with you
Yep.
on updates of anything that we have.
Absolutely. Look, I'll tell you right now, I've went through the video on demand purchasing, and it is very easy. It's straightforward. I personally think that it's user friendly, even for my dumb self, right? So, but at the end of the day, this is an opportunity for people to come out and get that hard copy, right? This is an opportunity for people to come out and shake Malcolm's hand, director, right? He'll have a pen. You can sign it. He can sign it for you.
I'll do autographs for extra. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. We can probably go down that avenue.
Not yet. Let's go viral first. All right, that's our goal, to go viral.
That's it. Yep.
So, I mean, is there anything you want to kind of sum up for the listeners? This episode was clearly to make the announcement that we will be at the Speedway, and we're going to be there promoting the movie, selling DVDs, raffling off merch, which is going to be a free raffle. It's not going to cost anything extra, and just meeting the community that hasn't really got to hear about it yet. And hopefully, they get into it, because it is more than just a movie. It's about the community, right? Like it was all shot local by local talent. That, I mean, I would say 98% of the people in the movie don't even want to be an actor. They just did it as a favor to help their boy out, and it actually turned out really good. So obviously, I have to say that because I'm the director. But
I think that when we talk about this event, there's two groups of people we're talking to, right? Number one, we're talking to our Big Hammock followers, right? To tell, and so for us to tell them about the event, again, it's a racing event. There's going to be some great cars there racing, street stocks, I'm sorry, I had the list of it. Street stocks, factory stocks, three quarters, a number of them. Right, you'll have a good show that you'll watch. Right. When was the last time you went?
I was a kid. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I was young
Mm-hmm.
since I went. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's been a long time.
And I'll tell you, this is going to be a good event to go to. I know that Bubba's been up there working on the track, in between races. He's been up there today. He's going to be working on it all day tomorrow. He'll have a good track for the racers to be on. Um, but there's more than just the races that go on there, right? Like again, we have something great in our backyard. There's monster truck shows that go on at this racetrack. There's the Tour of Destruction that's coming up in October, which is really cool. They do figure eight bus races. They do rope tow races. This last time they came, they put on the most epic fireworks show I've ever seen in my life. There was one, the last year's one, they had a rocket car that burnt two cars stacked on top of each other to a crisp, like hot as the blazes of hell, like crazy. It was insane to watch. It's a good show. The tour of destruction. And then racing all throughout the year, right? I think this year's schedule's got a race, two races a month, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So that we've really picked up the racing schedule compared to years prior. COVID definitely put everybody down, and then we've just been trying to regroup from there. But for the Ocala Speedway fans, the racing fans, this is a Bigfoot movie.
Right.
Right,
Right.
we
Right.
yeah, and I think we'll talk about it, at the track, but that's the short story. It's a Bigfoot movie, as I already said, but it's surrounded by podcasters, a group of podcasters that are trying to capture evidence of the elusive creature, and you know, at the same time, there's a game warden that's trying to capture some poachers. And, while all of this is happening,
What he thinks is
what he
poachers.
thinks is poachers, yes. And while all this is happening, the podcasters come across something. Game wardens involved, obviously, after those poachers. So, um, I'll tell anybody, it's a good movie. It really is a good movie. We had a great response at the premiere. We've had great feedback to anybody who didn't make the premiere, but they've watched the movie. This isn't just something that was done in somebody's backyard with their cell phone, right? Like this was something that we did right. It took 2 years to do it. We found a great cast to deliver, and we told a story. And we played it out on a movie theater, and again, to the point where it was premiered at Epic Theater,
Right.
right? Like this was something um, that was done right. Not only was it premiered at Epic Theater, it looked good on the screen at Epic Theater, and we packed the house at Epic Theater. We sold it out, right? So, this isn't just Johnny with his camera in his back pocket pulling out a movie with a microphone for his sound or whatever it may be. This is
Right. Right.
something that's been thought out. Malcolm's been in the movie industry, the film industry for quite some time. And all the years of experience, honed in on the skills of many, many people, whether it be sound, cameraman, actors, writers, all of that stuff all came together to make one great movie. And, I figure if there's two things that go together, if it's like peanut butter and jelly, Bigfoot and dirt racing. You know what I mean? Like,
It definitely goes
I
together.
mean, we should be able to,
If we get it popular enough, maybe we can sponsor one of the race cars. One of these
So
races.
what's funny is, what's funny, when the last tour of destruction that they had here. Listen, man, these guys pull car. They get some of them just get a car from the junkyard, and they'll run it all night till the end of the night at the demo derby, and then just crash it till it's done, and then they'll take it to the junkyard when it's all done, right? So, but somebody, and they do all kinds of funny stuff. I seen one year there was a car. that showed up. They also have a race that they hook a trailer up to, and that trailer can either have a boat or a pop up camper behind it, and they race with these trailers behind their race car. Well, this one guy shows up with a boat on a trailer, and it's got a blow up doll holding a flag, and it says, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." So then that was the first, that was last year, right? This past one, somebody showed up with a pickup truck, and in the back of it was Bigfoot. Yes,
No.
standing straight up, strapped down. This dude's racing around the racetrack with Bigfoot in the back of his pickup truck.
That's the one we would sponsor.
I thought about taking a picture with him, but I didn't. I was like, I'll just, not make a fool of myself. So, but
Oh,
yeah, it's like I said, Bigfoot and dirt track racing. I mean,
goes together.
peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I can't wait for it. I hope we get a lot of response,
absolutely,
especially from our viewers and our followers. Hopefully, they
absolutely,
show up to support the track.
absolutely.
So looking forward to seeing y'all guys out there. If y'all decide to come check it out, and make sure you come by the merch table.
I think I just burped in the microphone.
I'll cut it out or not.
Yeah, come on out. I tell you again, we have something good in our community. Come check it out.
Yeah.
If it's your first time, if you haven't been in a while, now's the time to come check it out.
Yeah. So thebighammock.com, thebighammock.com, one word. Get your DVDs, Blu Rays, digital stream. Subscribe to our mailing list.
Also, comments.
Yes.
Our our
Q&As.
our ask us anything episode is coming. In the comments section, ask us anything. Ask us your question. We'll read it out on a podcast, and we will have us an episode where we strictly answer questions from the fans. So
yeah, comment on the episodes.
Yep.
All right. Well, close it out.
Close it out.
All right.